Season 6, Episode 3, Devotion. Let me just start off, because y'all already know. But I'm talking directly to Elizabeth Moss right now. Girl, I despise you. I despise you. You tricked me at the beginning of this episode by having June get lost in her thoughts. She went from the eye flutter and closed her eyes for a moment, but then she was snapped too because somebody was calling her name, and then there was that annoying stare right directly into the doggone camera. And I noticed that every time they do it this season, she grimaces. She grimaces every time she does it. Looks just like the thumbnail for that movie Smile, that horror movie. Exactly what she looked like. I'm like, my goodness, we got 7 more episodes of this. 7 more. And I still got to finish season 1. So 10 episodes all together. And then I know they're going to do it in the Testament too. I already can see who they doe-eyed beauties are that they picked out. I already know. Oh, let's get into this episode. It's time for the rescue mission to begin. And let me tell you, this is a rescue mission unlike any other that I've ever seen. Tuello, he come in. He's the one that snapped June to reality, like, hey, it's time to go. Now, we walked into this doggone place last time with a whole lot of people standing around looking at June like she was the great white hope. None of these people went. Not now, none of these. Remember I kept saying, none of these people could have saved them. None of these people could have helped. Not now one of these people went on this rescue mission. It was only June. June and Tuello. Okay, Tuello tell them that that Luke and Moira have been trapped in no man's land, right? And they have been there for 4 days. But he think they at least got food, so they should be okay with that. June was like, well, how the hell did you let them do this? Okay. He said, it's not me, it's not my operation, it's Mayday's. All I'm doing is helping Mayday out. Well, according to June, the non-existent military is funding Mayday. That's how Mayday is getting paid, right? And interestingly enough, I had to think about that. I was like, the military is funding Mayday, which is surprising because the military is funded by the Department of Defense that is also funded by Congress, which actually no longer exists in this world. So how is the military being funded by the DOD, Department of Defense, that doesn't exist any longer? The United States is 2 states. It is Hawaii, Alaska, and the territory of Guam. That's it. They don't even mention Puerto Rico any longer. Okay? They don't mention American Samoa, the United States Virgin Islands. They don't mention none of these places. The United States is only Alaska, Hawaii, and Guam. Okay. So I was wondering, like, what financial leverage does the military really have in order to assist Mayday? But June says, you know what? The military is just using these civilians to do all their dirty work for them. Tuella say they volunteers. They volunteering for this stuff. And technically speaking, the military is a bunch of civilian volunteers. They get trained to do the work. We are regular folks that came off the street and volunteered to do the work, to do the dirty work. They haven't had a draft since the 70s, right? Okay. Anywho, he let her know the work that they were talking about doing. They are gathering information. And the information they are gathering is going to let them know who were the commanders who shot down their planes. Moira and Luke's only job is to gain intel. They were supposed to get in, get the intel, and come right back. But somehow they was met with unexpected patrols. And considering that Nick didn't help them, I don't even know why they still sent them someplace that they were not aware of how the patrols were working. That was dumb on Mayday, dumb on the military, dumb on Tuello, dumb on Moira and Luke. And why is Moira and Luke the only 2 there? Or all the people that's in that house that June walked into, is they all the ones that's supposed to be with them? They all left them behind? That's one thing that the military tell you, is don't leave nobody behind. Or that's what we getting instilled into us. Anyhow, I'm confused. We saw Nick get rid of the SIM card, okay? But Tuello tell June that Nick isn't answering his calls because he has to host foreign dignitaries that are coming into New Bethlehem. And he's doing so with the help of Serena Joy. Makes no sense at all. Nick ain't called you because he threw away the doggone SIM card. So how would you know what Nick is doing? If you have another source that is giving you information on Nick, that provided you that information, then why couldn't that source be the one to give you the information on the commanders who shot down the doggone plane? Why was it necessary for Luke and Moira to go in there and risk their life to collect intel if you got somebody that's inside telling you what the hell Nick is doing? Nick told you that Serena, no, Nick, what did Nick say? Well, he said that Nick said something. He said that, well, he knew about Nick and Serena. And I'm like, you got information about Serena too? But you couldn't get information from Nick to shed lights on the patrols? I wish, dog, get away from my door. Okay. I felt like I was about to throw my damn TV, y'all. I really did. This season has annoyingly bad script writing to me. Not dialogue, not bad acting, but just the story arc itself is horrible. It's so many fucking holes in it that I'm seeping through like a bucket with a hole in it, because I'm like, what the hell? You can't hold me. This season is not holding me. Ain't doing nothing but infuriate me. It's like I'm steady trying to put water into this bucket with holes in it. I'm trying to fill this bitch up and now everything leaking out the bottom because the shit don't make sense. Anyway, we go back in New Bethlehem. The world leaders of Gilead have arrived. Commander Blaine is in there, which is Nick, right? And he's meeting the official from Germany. He's the first one to make it in to go meet the mayor of Bethlehem, is what Commander Lawrence called Nick. But he isn't what he seems to be, because as soon as Commander Joey left the room, he comes in and tells Nick, hey, June is at mile marker 17. I'm like, mile marker 17 for what state? Every single state within the United States has a mile marker 17. It lets you know that you are 17 miles into the state border. What state is she in? She in Pennsylvania? She in Boston, Massachusetts? Or she's in Massachusetts as the state? What mile marker she at? She in New York. Make it make sense. Okay. If she made it to Pennsylvania or made it to Massachusetts, wherever this meet is at mile marker 17, she's already made it past no man's land. If y'all remember, no man's land is the land that sits between Canada and Gilead. Gilead is located in Boston, Massachusetts. The only mass of land that sits in between there is the state of New York. So if she's at mile marker 17 in the state of New York, she done passed them up already. Because the mile markers, if I'm not mistaken, when it's coming from the south, is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Coming from north going down, it starts at the highest mileage of the state and then drops down. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But anyway, June looked to me as she was dropped off in the middle of the woods. And while she in the middle of the woods, a car approached her. She was so happy to see that it was Nick. He walked out, put a stiff arm around her. You know, he didn't say anything to her. Didn't say anything at all. He didn't even ask a word. And she said, I'm okay. I'm okay, boo. I'm okay. Okay. And again, he didn't ask about his daughter. She said, but Jelly Bean is okay. She's back in Alaska with my mother, Holly. And he looked like your mother. Yes, my mother, Holly. That's where she's at. He's so caring about her. And I'm being sarcastic. He didn't bother to say, why the fuck are you here? That would have been my first response. You done got your ass all the way to freedom, to safety. Why are you back here in danger, in harm's way? He did say, okay, so what happened, right? She didn't bother to ask him about Hannah at all. At all, during this whole episode, at all. He doesn't offer information on her either. But he's like, what's up? What's up? What happened? What's going on? Why am I here? Okay, so she tells him that Luke and Moira are in no man's land, in some water park in Ronson. I have no idea where Ronson is at. Y'all know I look up all these cities and places and all that stuff. Ronson doesn't exist. There is a company called Ronson that's located in New Jersey. It's located in New Jersey. There's no city that I was able to find called Ronson. No community, no county that I found called Ronson. But that's a new. But there's water parks all around. There's a water park called Roseland, and I was wondering if she meant that. Okay, that's in New York. That could probably be around that mile marker 17 area. You know what I'm saying? That could be foreseeable, but I don't know where Ronson is. They may have just made that up, or she just misspoke, and they just kept it in there. Anyway, they are there because he's like, what the hell? Why would they be there? What the hell are they doing there? And she said, because I wasn't there to stop them. Great white hope, great white savior. You wouldn't have to stop them. He's going to get your daughter, and you're going to stop him? Okay, anyway, she asked Nick, I need you to clear them a path so they can make it home. They can make it out. We heard there's a whole bunch of dignitaries coming into New Bethlehem. So security is beefed up in this moment. Somehow she managed to get to him though. Make it make sense. He managed to get to her with all this beefed up security. Make it make sense. But they can't get out of no man's land. Well, Nick tell her, I can't move the patrols. Find somebody else to do it. Okay. She was like, I can't. The military can't go in because if they do, it's going to be seen as an act of war. Not in no man's land. We already discussed it. If something happens in no man's land, it is not considered an act of war. That's why you can get away with shit in no man's land, because it's no man's land. Well, Mayday can't go get them because of the patrols. They got in with the patrols, but the patrols were supposed to be surprised. It happened out of nowhere. Okay. So she's like, you it, buddy. You it. He was like, nah, I can't do it. Well, she used her manipulation like she has done in many episodes, and this to her benefit. She was like, fine. I get it. It's too dangerous for you to do. I just do it myself. You know, that's how a woman who wants to manipulate a man, that's what she does. She makes him feel small and inadequate. Like she doesn't need him. Fine. I'll do it myself. I know it's too dangerous for you. I know that. She emasculates him by saying, I guess I gotta do it, me being the woman that I am, you know what I'm saying? And then he's like, no, I'm gonna do it. A man's ego not gonna let those feelings overcome him and make him feel like he can't do it. So he's saying, I can't let her think I'm weak. I'm gonna go and do it for you. No, he had his head down. Might as well tuck his tail in between his legs like a little sick puppy, because he was like succumbing to her wants and needs, even though this is something that he didn't want to do. Get away from my door! This dog keep headbutting my doggone door. Anyway, he said he shouldn't. He should have just said, in my opinion, he should have just said, okay, fine, don't do it. Okay. But no, he said, I'm going to bring them back to you. Well, June, she goes to go hop in his car. He like, what the hell you doing, right? She said, oh, I'm coming with. And she stood there. And she looked at him. Like saying, who going to check me, boo? That's exactly what she did. He didn't even bother to fuss at her. He didn't bother to fuss. He just said, he kept his head down and told her to keep her head down. So, I was like, is security not that secure? Or is safety not a priority? Why would you be taking her with you? Now, my thing is, if Nick, Commander Blaine, can get to Moira and Luke out of no man's land, past this beefed up security, with her in tow, ain't no way in hell that he can't get Hannah out. If Luke can keep traveling back and forth to Toronto, back and forth to wherever this is, mile marker 17, back and forth to go see June, he can get Hannah out. Can't you, Commander Blaine? Now, I don't know how hard Serena Joy hit her head when she was thrown from the train, but she has really taken on this godly vibe, unlike any that she's ever had before. She's speaking more in scripture than Aunt Lydia ever did. And she has really convinced herself that she is the great savior. She is the chosen one. She is Neo. And she seemingly is condemning others who she don't see God in. Honey, you ain't God. God ain't in you at all. The devil has planted root in your soul. Okay? But she is laying on the savior complex hella thick. Even Commander Lawrence is falling for it. He's buying it. We get to see Aunt Lydia this episode. And she goes to this dark garage to meet with another aunt, Miriam. Aunt Miriam didn't think that she would show up. So whatever it is that's going on right now, Aunt Lydia has to see for herself, she says. It's Janine, child. Last we knew, the Guardians was carrying off Janine, took her away under lock and key, and now, we all know that she developed this weird liking for Janine, a mother-like disposition to Janine. And I don't find that cute or endearing either. Okay, so she slowly walks down this long, dark hallway. It looks like a fucking dungeon. The Marthas there have to wear masks over their face as to not tempt the patients. I don't get what she meant by patient. Was Janine in a cuckoo ward? What the hell was going on? Well, baby, it is a dungeon. A sex dungeon. Okay? The den of iniquity. That's exactly what was going on. It was all scantily clad women, titties and ass just showing all over the place. Whips and chains. Martha's in there snorting up the sugar booger. All that. The booger, sugar booger. Nose candy. Oh, that right there. Okay. This was Jezebel's. That's what they had took Janine to. But I don't get the patient reference. Okay. And there was Janine dressed like a stripper about to hit the pole. Okay, and then there was a few other people that was there too, of Kyle, of of Kyle, of George, and one other person. All Aunt Lydia's girls. Okay, Aunt Lydia was like, "Oh, child, come with thyself. Ain't you cold?" She offered to help her free her from Belline, and Janine is like, "Don't do nothing. Everything that you have done to so-called help me, every time you have tried to help, you make things worse." Now, I'm shocked at this new Janine too. Janine is a whole new motherfucker. She been losing her mind for years. She been losing her mind since season 1, since they took out her eye, since she jumped off that bridge and tried to commit suicide, since they had her over at the colonies. Janine has been losing her damn mind. Okay? And now, here, this Janine reminds me of the Janine we met in season 1. She got all her marbles back. All her faculties. She's got complete understanding and common sense. And she's using logic. Y'all have literally made her fall apart right before our eyes. And now all of a sudden her mentality is sane again. Aunt Lydia. She different too. She seems to be a little bit weak-minded now. Clueless as to what's happening to the girls. How are you so clueless? You are one of the people that used to send girls to the fucking colonies. What you mean? You don't know what's going on there. You the one that used to torture up girls, beat their feet, hang them up by their toenails, clip off their fingers, sew their mouth together. That was you, Aunt Lydia, okay? And now you acting like you shocked that these women don't send her to the whole house to go have unbridled sex with different men all the time at these men's will. Now you're shocked? Like, oh God, I didn't know this was happening. You was okay with them being forcefully raped and held down by the wives just so they could procreate. You was fine with that. But God forbid it's done for pleasure. Okay? Even though it's still forced. It's still forced. Let's not forget that. But this right here is too much. This is too much for you. Okay, she says, you know what? Y'all told me that, she told Janine, y'all are supposed to be rewarded for your acts. Because y'all had babies for these people, okay? But instead, y'all was put here. And like Janine said, all the rest of them were sent to the colonies. So us four, at least, we ain't in the colonies. Aunt Lydia ain't obtuse about the colonies, so I don't know why they wrote it this way. Why are they trying to make this as if this is news to her? and that somehow God is in the work here. Okay, she tried to get them all to pray for deliverance, and she was met with jeers. They told her to shut the fuck up, told her to get the hell out of there. I was like, okay, I know they're a little bit freer Jezebels, but they are still fearful of the aunts. So where these women get these balls from? I didn't get it. Anyway, June and Nick, they reached the water park. And there's absolutely not a single soul in sight. Not a single freaking person. No one casing the grounds. No one checking for admittance. Nothing. Nothing. They didn't even meet any resistance on the road there. And Moira and Luke are stuck there. How they get there? Why they can't leave? Okay, the same way that June and Nick walk their butt in there with ease, surely they gonna walk their butt on out. Okay. Nick say this a park. Listen to my words. Nick says that this park has been closed a very long time, so it's always empty. Always. So again, tell me how y'all trapped in an empty water park. How y'all trapped in a place that has no people. The same empty ass road Nick just drove down, Tuello could have drove down there himself and gave him a ride back. Get away from my door, Vito. Well, Nick, he stops by a slide, get his weapon out, check his weapon. And I'm thinking, they about to dip and dodge, between the structures. No, they just walking casually. Like they about to go get a funnel cake. Right out in the open. Talking about how cool it is that Nick is playing a double agent, you know what I'm saying? Then out of nowhere, an SUV drives through. It's a freaking patrol. One car. One car. And they dip. Okay. But it's one car. I was like, why would this patrol be there? Considering Nick said it's empty all the time. But okay, we got a one car patroller. June asked Nick what made him decide to help. He was like, I saw you up in Toronto, you had got hurt. And she was like, you came? He was like, I had to come see you. I had to. I risked everything I have to come help you. But not to help her save her child. My bad. He risked everything he had to see her. Not to help her, to see her. But he won't save her child. He agreed to spy for Tuello just so he could get information on June. Now I'm back in New Bethlehem. Wharton is trying to figure out where Nick is at. Well, he's in no man's land, Wharton, okay? The unoccupied land between Gilead and Canada, okay? I'm sorry to keep harping on this, but I'm going to keep harping on this. No man's land. Again, it's supposed to be the unoccupied land between Gilead and Canada. Gilead, might I remind you, is in Boston, Massachusetts. New Bethlehem is in Pennsylvania. New Bethlehem is in the middle of Pennsylvania. The only thing separating it by land is New York, the state. Gilead is in Boston, Massachusetts. Again, the only thing that's separating it by land is New York, the state. That is no man's land. It takes about 2 to 3 hours if you're driving, and you're not encountering roads that are blocked off or roads that are being monitored by Gilead. You know what I'm saying? That's also not counting the time it takes to drive from Massachusetts or Pennsylvania to New York. Okay, so you're looking at maybe like 4 to 5 hours drive time, right? He got the word that she was wherever mile marker 17 exists for them. He drove there at least 3 hours, at least, Then they had to drive to the water park, which is, we don't know where that's at. All without being seen. But there's patrols everywhere. Patrols so tough that Nick and Moira can't get out of this empty fucking water park. So Lawrence is moving forth. We're going ahead and smoothing the dignitaries without the help of Nick. They pretty skeptical though, because they Canada is saying, your refugees have put a damper on Canada, but we will not in good faith send them back to y'all, knowing that they are being harmed. And I was like, wait a minute. I thought they said they being forced out of Toronto. They couldn't even go into Vancouver because Vancouver said they wouldn't open their doors to anymore. What you mean? What do you mean send them back? Is your plan to deport them? Okay, these women were captors of Gilead, citizens of the U.S. Why would they go back to Gilead? They could volunteer, but if they volunteer to go back, what right do you as Canadians have to keep them in Canada? What you mean? You gonna consider letting them go? It's their choice, right? And then, but yeah, she said, why would we send them back to you if we know that they're being harmed? These women, were mutilated by you guys. Lauren said, well, I can assure you that no human rights violations will be had here. And the one chick was like, we can't trust you with women. Okay, so I guess all women are running to other countries at this particular time. I hate the way that they're painting this picture. They're making it seem like these women are so fucking emotional, and these women are just like so overjoyed with motherhood that they can't see no other way. They can't make no common sense about anything else unless you're about to have some babies. So the guiding light, Serena Joy, stepped up and said, I was an enslaver. I was, yes. But now I'm blind. No, I did not mean to say that word, but you know what that reminds me of? The song Amazing Grace. It said, amazing grace. I was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but now I don't like the song. I hate the song. Okay, but it says something in the song about I was blind, but now I see. The Amazing Grace was written by a slaver, and this was his song. I don't understand why so many black people sing this song like it's a revolution song, like it's a We Should Overcome song. This song is about a slaver and his revelation that he was having. He was blind and now he see. That's what that song is about. Anyway, she said, I know God has led me home to save the rest of the world. We doing something here that you ain't doing in your own country, okay? And I was like, wait a minute now. I remember when June and them first went to Canada. Canada was thriving. That's what June was so excited about. That was the first thing that she noticed as she was riding in that limousine for the first time. Canada was thriving. There was youth and babies all around. There was farmland and vegetation all around. Fresh water. Everybody working. Everybody living in perfect harmony up in Canada. What do you mean that we doing something in Gilead or New Bethlehem that has not been done in your countries? Canada been doing it. What you talking about? This revisionist history is killing me on this show this season. Okay. Like that, all the women dignitaries was like, oh, my ovaries, when she brought out little Noah. Oh, can I hold your baby? Oh, he's such a cute. He is a little goober, but still. Okay. Yes, girl. Yes. Okay, fine. Maybe. And holding and patting little goober. Maybe I can open up a volunteer line, if I know these women not going to be harmed. Oh, my God, your baby's so precious. Y'all forgot she stole June's baby. Y'all forgot she kidnapped somebody else's baby. She forced and raped somebody else's woman to get that baby. Okay, y'all forgot that shit. Anywho, out in the park, June and Nick, they still dodging this one vehicle. Now Nick keep talking about how big this park is, and he can't walk around this whole park looking for them in every doggone building. But somehow this one vehicle managed to be everywhere they at. And now we got a helicopter flying overhead too. This is one helicopter patrolling this one amusement park that's supposedly always empty. So Nick getting scared. It's too dangerous. We should go. June is like, no, the gift shop isn't far. Nick said, what do you expect me to do? Search every building and every ride? I ain't finna do that. She says, yes, that's what I want you to do. He's like, I didn't come here for them. I came here for you. I came here to see you. Well, first of all, y'all ain't even searched a building yet. Y'all ain't searched a single building. Y'all haven't searched a single ride. But you supposed to be going to the gift shop, so get your ass to the fucking gift shop, Nick. Okay, Nick is like, we need to go. I'm already in trouble back home. Every time I think about you, Rose can smell it on me. So June is like, oh, my bad. I forgot you married. You not only married, you married with a baby on the way. You should go. There she go with that guilt trip again. You know, basically, June has already got involved with one married man, Luke. Okay? She don't need to keep getting involved with another married man, being Nick, regardless if she had sexual relations with him in between time. Okay? I don't count Fred. She wasn't involved with that motherfucker. I really don't count Nick either, because he's a fucking overseer. Okay, anywho. Then he say he risked everything he has, everything, to come save her husband. Is that what you're doing, Nick? Because I could have sworn you was coming just to see her. You didn't even know what was going on with her husband. You didn't know what you were coming there for until you saw June. You were coming to see June. You didn't risk shit for her husband. But go ahead and spin that story. Go ahead and spin it. Go off. I'm not boo with food though. And he's like, you chose him over me. So I guess I'm going to help you get him back. You chose Luke. He was her fucking husband. Whew. But she really didn't choose Luke over you. She was like, he waited for me. Not because she loved Luke, but because he waited for her. Who she loved was Nick. He said love like past tense. She said no, love. She said, boy, you know I love you. Boy, you know I love you. No matter what you do. And even if you don't help me get my daughter, every word I say is true. 'Cause I love you. I'm thinking of you. That's basically, who sing that song, y'all? If y'all know who sing that song, girl, you know I love you. Trying to be more of a man for you. Yeah, if y'all tell me who sing that song, put it in the comment section. I'm going to give y'all a gift from the emoji vault. I didn't give out none last episode, but we need to bring some joy into this one. Go and put that down in the comment section. You know who sings that song. You get something from the emoji vault. I'm not quite sure yet. You know what I might... I don't know what I'm going to give y'all yet. I might give y'all some jewelry. I might give y'all a little diamond ring. Get some little bling bling on your fingers. You know what I'm saying? Since we're talking about husbands and love and all that stuff. Okay? So anyway, she said, I don't love Luke no more. I only love you. But I can't lose you. She didn't say those exact words, those were mine, but that's what she meant. Okay, anyway, she tell him, they are part of my world. I can't lose them. He was like, same Z. That's how I feel about you. Why? Why do you feel this way about her? What about her do you love? Y'all ain't did nothing but screw. Okay, you haven't been a friend to her. You haven't been a confidant. You haven't really been a hero to her or for her. Like, why do you love her? And hell, June, why do you love him? Okay. He like, I keep losing you, and I don't want to lose you anymore. June says, I'm right here. But they won't make it if we don't help them. I know you ain't got the power to get my daughter. I'm ad-libbing again. I know you ain't got the power to get my daughter, but I know you got all the power in the world to swoop on in there and save my husband and my bestie. I know you can do it, Nick. So Moira and Luke, they tucked inside this little building, and Moira is in there panicking. Why won't they leave? She looking out at some holes in the building. Look, they had been shot up by bullet holes, and this one SUV is circling the park. That somehow June and Nick keep eluding, but they scared to go around. Okay. Moira says, May, they just left us. They abandoned us. Yeah, girl, they did. And Luke is sitting in the back chilling. Like, I'm not about to stress my damn self about what's going on out there. I'm going to focus on the task at hand. Bell, Calhoun, Dupar. He is going over the list of the commanders that need to be taken out. Okay. They got photos and everything. I was like, they had to sneak in there for that. Wasn't no handoff at mile marker 17. No meeting on the bridgeway or in the tunnels that 2LO and Nick used to use. Okay, what happened to that pathway that June made when she came in to get Fred? They got back into Canada without no problems. But Luke and Moira get stuck in a water park in no man's land by themselves with some photos and some names. Moira is in her stressing. She's stressing Luke out. She's stressing me out. He like, I should have left your ass at home. Okay. She like, I should have left you in Toronto. Moira, you the one that's in her panicking, not him. Luke seemed like he focused on the task right now. He is determined not to fuck it up. He just want to prove to June that he's not a wildflower and that he can do it. She doesn't have to be the same. He can save his fucking family. Moira's like, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You're the best man I know, and she better know it. And Luke say, I just want to get my fucking daughter back. That's it. That's it. Okay. Just then, the door across the bay opened up. Moira and Luke, they get in ready mode, okay? Luke got the gun cocked and ready to go. He sees Nick into the room first, right? I was like, shoot him. I was really rooting for Luke to shoot, ask questions later. That's what I was really. But then we heard June's voice. Luke? Moira? Okay, so they come out like, June, what the fuck are you doing here? And she was like, oh, what are y'all doing here? What's wrong with y'all? You know what I'm saying? And she said, I called Tuello. I hadn't heard from y'all. And then Moira looked over and said, that ain't Tuello over there. Okay. There was no time for pleasantries, but I expected more out of Luke, and I didn't get it. Luke looked like he was just as happy to see Nick. Nick looked ashamed. He kept looking away. He couldn't even look the man in his face. You yellow belly soul sucker. I can't stand Nick. Oh, anyway, they walked out of the building, child, like they was about to go catch a bus. They didn't check their surroundings. Nothing. Then that one SUV pulls up on them, turns sirens on. Nick tells them, y'all go get in the car. He go over there to go handle the Guardians. They didn't go far. For some reason, June decided to go hide behind a stack of pallets. Again, I'm like, shoot. Somebody shoot. Okay. The Guardians is like, everybody stop. But no, people kept walking. They kept walking away. Like I said, June hid. Moira and Luke still going to Nick's car. And but when they didn't stop and Nick walked up to them, the Guardians didn't tell them to halt. They didn't put the guns on them or nothing. So Nick walked up to them and they instantly knew who he was. Commander Blaine. They out here in no man's name. And they instantly knew who Commander Blaine was. Nick, what that tells me is that you have much more power than you willing to admit. And it angers me more and more that you keep pretending to be helpless when it comes to Hannah. Now, the Guardian's like, we got to report this. And he like, nah, we good. I got this. He said, no, so we have to report any rebel activity. That's our protocol. Well, we knew that wasn't going to happen, you know. He popped them both. Pop out, you know, took them out. And Luke and Moira looked like Lot's wife. And you know what I'm saying? That's how they was looking. And I was like, why they ask in the car yet? Why didn't they get in the car? June, she still hiding behind the pallets. For what reason? I don't know. What was you planning on doing, girl? What was you planning on doing? There's literally still a plane flying above. We didn't hear the plane no more, though. But it should have noticed Nick's car. It should have noticed Nick's car when they did the patrol. Did y'all notice when they came out of the gift shop, the place that they had walked long and far to, when they came out of the gift shop, they came out of the back door of the gift shop. They didn't walk back through the amusement park. Nick's car was sitting right there. The patrol had just went by the building. Remember, Moira was looking out the holes like, oh my God, why they won't leave? Why they won't leave? They didn't see Nick's car sitting right there in the back of the damn gift shop. The helicopter that was flying above didn't see Nick's car. The Nick's car shouldn't even been there. They left Nick's car outside the amusement park, the water park, way far. Because remember, Nick was complaining about how fucking far they had to walk. This place was big. He didn't want to have to go through every goddamn building. They finally found the building that Moira and Luke was in. They walked out the back door like they finna hop on a fucking bus, and Nick's car sitting there like an Uber ride. The helicopter should have noticed their car. And even now, the helicopter should notice the dead bodies of the Guardians on the ground. Maybe even possibly hear the gunshots, depending on how far up in the earth the helicopter was. But me, I got common sense, so I noticed these things. Mayday should have been able to get them out. They didn't try. This was the simplest rescue ever. It was so simple as hopping on a line bike. That's basically what it was. Simple. They get into the car, they drive the fuck off. We go all the way back to New Bethlehem, and they celebrating Serena's joy's ability to gaslight everybody with the bite of God. Okay. They even talked about another New Bethlehem, and Commander Wharton like, slow your roll. And Naomi like, oh, that's a good idea. She tried to chime in, and Wharton looked at her like, why the fuck are you speaking? Not why you talking to me, just why you speaking, period. Okay? Serena Joy has only been the only woman afforded with the luxury of talking. Okay? Wharton say, Rose, where the fuck is your husband? Okay? I don't know why, but Commander Joy covered for him and said he sent him to go handle something along the trade route. Rose looked at him like, stop the cap. But Wharton took his word for it. Okay, he was fine with it. And he goes to walk Serena Joy home. They gonna make sure Serena Joy and Wharton hook up. Watch it. Okay, it's a speculation. Okay, so Aunt Lydia, she's now coming all the way from Gilead to talk to Commander Joy. She left Boston, Massachusetts, without the aid of a car. You know. She doesn't even have her command anymore, so she probably ain't even got a driver. And she makes it all the way to New Bethlehem to talk to Commander Lawrence and Naomi about taking Janine back in. And Naomi is like, the fuck I will. Okay. I let it like, no, I'm going to keep her in line. You know, I will make sure I discipline her. Whatever she do, whatever pop off, no matter how harsh it is, I got her. She will apologize to you as well. And Naomi said, no. I said, hell no. She's a rude, ungrateful bitch. And Lawrence is like, well, you heard my wife. Okay, bye-bye. And Aunt Lydia's like, no, come on now. Come on, dog. He said, you all right? You good? You got some type of affliction, some new diagnosis? She's like, no, I'm fine. He said, well, you can go then. You don't act like you don't know what goes on here. Don't act like you don't know what goes on here. Aunt Lydia's like, look, I am not going to allow my girls to be in that cesspool. Okay. Lawrence says, at least it's not the colonies and they alive. She's like, well, why can't they be echo wives? He said, because they tainted. They stained, okay? Aunt Lydia's like, excuse me? My girls are not stained. They have provided a service to y'all. You better go talk to your woman, right? And she tell him, look, y'all wouldn't even have a fucking child if it wasn't for her, okay? So y'all should at least advocate for Janine. He like, nah. My wife is old school. She ain't like Serena Joy. She's like, Serena Joy? Oh yeah, she here. She back. She brand new and everything, right? And she's like, Serena Joy? Yes, the bitch is back. And she got a whole new attitude. Shockingly so to Commander Lawrence. Shockingly so to me as well. He said, look, just let it go. Janine is gone. Janine pretty much told her the same thing. Let me go. If you really cared about me, forget about me. Okay? But he tell her, Janine was gone the moment you got your hands on her. Remember that? Don't you remember? So, we go back. Nick brings them back to mile marker 17. There was no security, no patrols, no helicopter that saw his vehicle driving away from their park and going all the way back to mile marker 17, wherever that may be. Tuello still sitting there at mile marker 17, just waiting. He didn't even know how long it was going to take. It could have been days for all he knew. You know, he ain't got no contact with Nick. They wasn't radioing back and forth. Tuello say, thanks to Nick, Luke daps him up. Morris say, nice to finally meet you. I can finally put a face to the name, okay? I'm sitting here like, I'm sitting here gagging. Anywho, Tuello, tell Nick, don't go dark on me again, okay? Hold your end up of our fucking agreement or I'm going to turn you in. And Nick's like, no, you won't. Keep your empty threats, because no, you won't. June tried to jump in, and she, it's a grown man's conversation they have right there. But she's like, look, he answered your call. Leave him alone. Girl, shut up. He only did it because of you. And Tuello told her that too. Shut up. But we all know that Tuello ain't got no cojones. He ain't got no cojones. Nick is right. He ain't gonna do nothing. they get into their cars, and they went to go say their goodbyes to each other, and June was like, stop playing, boy. We need to stop saying goodbye. You know we ain't no goodbye for us. I'm still right here for you. Forever, ever. Forever, ever. Forever, ever. That's the end of this episode, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.